This question comes from Devi Raj in Seattle. And Devi writes to me and he says all kinds of nice things. Thank you, Devi. And he wants to know about the differences between hi-fi listening rooms and production studio mixing rooms. When you have access to both, in the listening rooms and home speakers, they're placed in front of the front wall and between the listener. But when in a production room, speakers are typically flush mounted on a reflective front wall. Now, there are huge differences between these two, and in both cases, listeners want to hear all the details in the finished record. Which one is right? Devi, that's a great question, and one that the more I get immersed into Octave Records, and here we are in Octave Records, kind of our temporary home for right now as we build the new studios. This is our mixing room. We face that very same problem. Many of the studios that I've been in have the speakers flush mounted up against the wall. Usually there's a big window that we can look out into the tracking room, and then there are speakers flush up against that wall. Very rarely do they have them out. Now, some studios do the opposite. On the mixing board, they'll have monitors very close and pointed in. I've seen that, and I've seen the ones flush mounted. Rarely have I seen ones more like what we have, these ATCs that are not ideal, but they are mounted away from the front wall and a little bit more like a hi-fi setup. So I suppose much depends on what you are trying to accomplish. I know a lot of studios could care less about what we do at Octave Records. Care less, right? I mean, at Octave Records, what we're trying to do is recreate the sound of live music as if the musicians were playing in the room with you. So when you listen to it back on a hi-fi system, on a stereo system, and a properly set up stereo system, you can close your eyes, turn the lights down low, and it kind of sounds like somebody's out there playing. Behind the speakers, tons of detail. You hear everything that's going on. You hear the space between the musicians, the depth, soundstage width, height, all that kind of good stuff. That's what we're trying to accomplish at Octave Records. I would say the majority of recording studios are not looking to do that. The majority of recording studios are trying to make hits, trying to do something that will sound great in the car or on a radio or whatever medium they are trying to attract. So they'll do things where they're compressing it. They are doing the loudness wars. They're doing everything to get noticed, like much in our culture today. I could get going on a rant about social media and how everything is so startling, and if it's not startling, we don't want to know about it, right? Get me going about that stuff. I mean, oh my gosh, whatever happened to, I had a great day today. Went out for a picnic and enjoyed the sun. Boy, put that on social media. Where's that going to get you? And here I am on YouTube, right? So what am I talking about? I got nothing to say. Anyway, it has much to do with goal setting, what you're trying to accomplish. I suppose if we were interested in making hit records that would get noticed by people, buying records because they were popular because of all of that, we would probably duplicate exactly the same things that the other studios did to get those same results. But that's not what we're interested in. So I know that's kind of a roundabout answer, but in general, what we try and do is duplicate as closely as possible the listening environment that the music will eventually be played in. And that's what's important. And I believe that's what most producers are doing. They want to reproduce in the mix exactly, or get as close as they can to how it will eventually be played back. And for Octave, it's going to be played back on a high-end stereo system. For bump and grind, rock and roll, all that kind of good stuff, It's going to be played on something different, so we've got to do something different. All right. Anyway, thanks. I'll talk to you later. Bye.